Don't let anyone disenfranchise you because you're a young man, especially a young white male man. Don't ever let anyone talk down to you. We need strong men out there, strong men who are convicted, that will be good leaders, good husbands, good fathers like mine. We need that. And young women, we need you to also rise up. Don't compromise yourself. Don't look at other women and compare yourself. God has created you for a purpose and a reason far greater than you and I will ever know on this side of heaven. But just know that as long as you're a part of Turning Point USA, you have us by your side.
Some people just don't know when it's time to walk away. And if you listen to Erika Kirk's critics, many of them believe she fits that description perfectly. They argue she stayed in the spotlight far longer than she should have. After losing her husband at just 37 and raising 2 children on her own, many people expected an outpouring of public sympathy. Instead, the response has been much more divided. Many critics, including some who once followed her late husband's work, have questioned her public appearances and intentions. To them, almost every move she makes looks carefully planned, and that perception has sparked heated conversations and nonstop debate across social media.
Your questions, and hopefully we'll be able to answer any thoughts that you have.
Who is more conservative and why?
Erika.
Yes.
By far. Not even close. I am a moderate compared to Erika.
Rather than stepping away as the criticism has grown, Erika has remained right in the spotlight. She continues appearing at major events, speaking on big stages, and expanding her public profile, even as the conversations around her keep getting louder. Supporters see it as a sign of strength and determination, while critics believe she's trying to become the new public face of the movement her husband helped build.
Just 2 days after her husband was killed, Erika appeared to make a statement on his channel.
Good evening. My name is Erika Kirk. Charlie Kirk is my husband. The evildoers responsible for my husband's assassination have no idea what they have done. They should all know this. If you thought that my husband's mission was powerful before, you have no idea. You have no idea what you just have unleashed across this entire country. When I got home last night, Gigi, our daughter, just ran into my arms, and I talked to her, and she said, "Mommy, I missed you." I said, "I miss you too, baby." She goes, "Where's Daddy?" "What do you tell a 3-year-old? She's 3. I said, "Baby, Daddy loves you so much. Don't you worry. He's on a work trip with Jesus, so he can afford your blueberry budget."
No matter which side people take, she continues making headlines, and the debate surrounding her shows no signs of slowing down. Even though the situation was already tense, the public discussion has only grown more intense with each passing week. The scrutiny over nearly everything Erika does has continued to grow. And many viewers have noticed that her recent media appearances have sparked even more discussion. Critics have pointed to her interviews, speeches, and public reactions as reasons they believe the pressure may be affecting her, fueling widespread speculation across social media and beyond.
There you go.
Oh, look at all the thumbs up. Look how cute that is. Sorry, this is a little bit more informal than probably Charlie would be reacting. How sweet. I didn't know they could do that. I hate Zoom. I never like Zoom. Sorry, you guys. I just wanted to say first and foremost, my heart obviously is broken for you guys as much as it is for our family. You guys lost not only a boss, but someone that you looked up to, someone that you believed in his mission, that you also, that you loved. You loved listening to his show, hearing his wisdom on things. I'm sure some of you have also had very personal moments of where you sat down and
Had private conversations with him. I want you all to hold on to those.
But instead of receiving the understanding and patience she appears to expect, nearly everything the former Miss Arizona says or does has faced intense public scrutiny. People continue to debate what she knows, what her intentions might be, and where they believe her loyalties truly stand. The conversation shows no signs of fading. That growing sense of uncertainty has become a major part of the story. To understand how the situation reached this point, it helps to go back to where it all began. A new chapter for Turning Point USA started almost immediately after Charlie Kirk's assassination in Provo, Utah, setting off a wave of public attention and discussion. Just 2 days after her husband was killed, Erika appeared to release a statement through his channel, marking one of her first public responses after the tragedy. Then, just 11 days after the shooting, a report from the New York Times added another unexpected turn to the story.
A friend of mine, let's call her Erika. She's had a wild life, this woman. She was in Romania, she had an orphanage, she was on a reality show, she married this famous guy, she was an intelligence asset. And I said to her, how do you do this? And she says, Tim, it's Neuros, energy, and focus mints. And I said, but how do you do it after the guy, the husband and father of the kids gets murdered and you're out there doing all kinds of stuff? You're doing fundraisers and you're dancing around with glitter pants. How does this happen? She goes, I could lie to you, but I'm telling you, it's Neuros, energy, and focus mints. I said, really? She goes, sure. I said, how are you running this organization 7 hours after this guy got popped?
According to the article, Erika was sitting in her mother's hospital room in Phoenix when she received a call from Michael McCoy, introducing another key moment in the unfolding timeline, her husband's longtime assistant. Looking back on that moment, Erika said she had a feeling she knew what he was about to tell her before he even spoke the words.
It's evil. Charlie and I have always been very clear on our stance. Israel, Jewish people. It's awful. Anti-Semitism is what healing factor comes out of hating Jewish people? What healing factor comes out of hating Christians? What healing factor comes out? Hate in general? Nothing. Charlie always would say very clearly, Jew hate was brain rot. He would always say it. We've been to Israel twice together, and to be able to walk in the place where our Lord walked and see the Bible come to life in Technicolor. How could you hate that place? How could you hate the Jewish people?
That detail quickly caught the attention of many observers and became another widely discussed point in the growing public conversation surrounding the situation. At the time, many of Charlie Kirk's supporters continued to stand firmly behind Erika as they mourned alongside an audience that had followed his work for years. In fact, reports claiming that Charlie believed Erika held even stronger hardline views than he did were viewed by some supporters as a reassuring sign and a reason to remain confident in her.
That we've presented to congressional officials. 1 being cyber, 2 being hackers, 3 being physical threats, 4th one is solar EMP, and the 5th one is man-made. And when we go over this risk analysis, they hear what we're saying, but they don't want to take action. Take action.
Well, there are 18 critical infrastructures. It's weird, but very weird.
She's doing a CIA informational video.
Weird.
Like an acting gig, or is this something else?
Perhaps. Or, but even so, you're doing an acting gig for the CIA. Who calls you for that?
Yeah.
You ever get one of those calls?
No.
No, I never got one of those calls.
And my agent never hit me with that one.
Yeah. It's odd. Well, there's a lot of people that think that she was his handler. She was Charlie Kirk's handler. But of course, there's a lot of people that think I have handlers.
Yeah. Well, you got about 9 Navy SEALs out there.
They're not handlers. They're my friends.
Rather than raising doubts, those reports initially boosted confidence among many of Charlie's followers. Just 8 days after his passing, it was announced that Erika would become the director of Turning Point USA after a unanimous vote. From that point forward, though, both the organization and its new leader found themselves under constant public scrutiny, with every major decision and appearance drawing fresh debate and controversy. Whether it was viral moments at public events, her comments about forgiveness after the tragedy, or debates over how Charlie's views and legacy should be understood, Erika quickly became a major focus of public criticism. Nearly every appearance or statement seemed to spark another round of discussion. Supporters argued that she was doing everything she could to carry forward a difficult mission during an incredibly challenging time.
Seems to fall increasingly flat, with each resurfaced more so from the old days.
He is the executive director of the Task Force on National and Homeland Security and director of the U.S. Nuclear Strategy Forum, both congressional advisory boards. I touch a little bit of topics on the grid vulnerability that we have here in our country, and just basically tell the audience what exactly EMP is and what are the threats that we need to be aware of as Americans, and what our major security issue here in America is right now.
Well, an electromagnetic pulse can be generated by a nuclear weapon detonated at high altitude. And we have seen Iran write in its military doctrine, this is basically why they want the bomb. We've also seen them practice launching missiles from short-range missiles from ships to simulate an EMP attack.
Critics, meanwhile, believed several of her decisions and public statements only added to the confusion and frustration. What began with strong support from many people gradually turned into a far more divided and heated public conversation, with opinions becoming more polarized as time went on. As the months went by, nearly every interview, speech, or public appearance seemed to ignite a new wave of discussion online. Each new statement was closely analyzed by both supporters and critics, making it even harder for her to step out of the spotlight.
A thing called Happy Easter. Do we have that? Everyone happy? Anybody that doesn't want, hello, darling. Wow, this is a good table. I like that table. You're doing well, right? Okay. I think you should sue him, but, you know, I told her, you ought to sue somebody. They're so jealous of Erika. I said, you ought to sue their... I can say it, you're not allowed to say this. You have to be nicer. Sue their ass off.
The intense attention followed almost every public move she made. The controversy eventually spread beyond political opponents and reached people who had once been seen as allies. After Candace Owens publicly criticized Erika's handling of information related to the murder investigation, the disagreement between the two became much more visible, drawing even more attention and discussion from people following the story. Before long, Erika was responding in interviews to someone who had once been a close friend of her late husband, adding another dramatic chapter to an already high-profile public disagreement. At the same time, she spent considerable time speaking in support of Israel while continuing to publicly address the person convicted of killing her husband.
Evil. She is evil. When I watched that, I went, she's evil. I am so infuriated watching that back because she's lying. She's objectively lying and she's acting. She was told to say that to make people believe that she had access to something that we didn't.
Do you believe that Tyler Robinson murdered your husband?
Yes, I do.
Why do you think it is so hard for so many people to believe that reality?
Because it's too simple. Again, everyone always has to think there's more to the story. Well, sometimes there's not. I've seen the autopsy report. I've seen our case pulled together. I've been in constant contact with our lawyers, the prosecuting team. I've seen it all.
Right? It was because of that clip that when I went in to meet with her, I was going, oh, okay, maybe she has something that the public doesn't. I spoke to her, I'm in touch with the lawyers, I've seen the autopsy report, and then I sit down with her 72 hours later, and she tells me, and her lawyer confirms to me, that they have nothing more than what the public has seen.
Those actions sparked even more discussion, with both critics and supporters offering sharply different interpretations and adding to the growing public debate. With every new statement, skepticism surrounding Erika appeared to grow even stronger. Many critics questioned her messaging and openly asked why others continued to support her public efforts. As the debate intensified, nearly every appearance she made became the focus of close attention and non-stop discussion online. To her detractors, the situation no longer looked like a carefully managed public response. Instead, they argued it had become a series of decisions that seemed increasingly difficult to understand. With each new development, they believed their concerns were being reinforced, saying the public image she presented did not fully match what they felt they were observing. One moment that attracted especially widespread attention was her appearance on a Turning Point USA Zoom call just 5 days after her husband's death, a moment that quickly became another major topic of a public conversation. Some observers pointed to what they believed was a surprisingly composed demeanor, and that quickly became another topic of discussion and speculation. After the footage began circulating, criticism of Erika appeared to grow even stronger. Many online commentators closely examined her public image, with some arguing that her presentation seemed highly polished and carefully planned.
Turns out Erika Kirk's mother has been a CIA spy or a spy for a long time. Now, you know, she had like 50 different LLC companies that she creates and closes and all. And so Wolves in Finance have done a great job with that. And now Project Constitution says Lori Friends appears in Edward Snowden's leaked PRISM docs as NSA agent. For those of us tracking the new TPUSA narrative, this isn't just a coinkydink. It's a confirmation of the intelligent asset theory. The coincidence officially dies. They are running a script. If Lori is a confirmed intelligence asset, her daughter's entire life story suddenly looks like a meticulously managed operation, which it was.
As a result, conversations about her authenticity continued spreading across social media and political circles alike. Critics also focused on the footage, noting that Erika frequently looked down at her notes while speaking. To them, that raised questions about how natural and unscripted the moment really was. Some argued that the presentation came across as heavily rehearsed, while others viewed it differently, adding even more attention to the ongoing debate. While others claimed it came across more like a carefully planned public relations effort than a heartfelt personal reflection.
I mean, how much more
listen,
can this woman take?
she is absolutely committed to, and I don't want to put words in Erika's mouth. I think she's probably going to kind of clarify what this event has meant to her, at some point this week, and kind of where her head's at. So I don't want to speak for her, but, actually she's completely committed and devoted to, fulfilling Charlie's legacy and mission, and none of that has changed. Obviously, this was a triggering experience in more ways than one. And it wasn't just her as well. There was Mikey was at the event, and Mikey was just a few feet away from Charlie at UVU.
If the goal was to connect with people on an emotional level, many observers believed the response did not unfold as expected. Rather than receiving broad support from conservative audiences, Erika also faced criticism from voices within those same circles. Several conservative commentators became some of her most outspoken critics, making her interviews and public appearances a regular topic of discussion, criticism, and debate. Elsewhere, major podcasts and online commentators, including discussions related to platforms such as the Joe Rogan Experience, have examined Erika's background in greater detail.
Get on your feet, boy!
War is raging in Iran.
We're praying for all the soldiers.
Some of those conversations have centered on claims and allegations about possible connections to intelligence circles that critics argue existed before she met Charlie. Those claims remain disputed and have not been established as fact, but they continue to generate discussion online. And even if those allegations are inaccurate, and any past involvement simply reflected different career opportunities, critics argue that claims she had little connection to politics before meeting Charlie become harder to accept as older details continue to resurface. Those differing interpretations have only added to the ongoing public discussion surrounding her background. With every archived interview, public appearance, or previously overlooked detail that attracts attention online, the debate over Erika's background seems to grow even louder.
First and foremost, I woke up this morning and I was highly upset. I had a little bit of a yesterday news hangover. I realized that I'm actually so not okay with what Erika Kirk did. She essentially put a target on my back by wrongly asserting that I accused her of murdering her husband. I don't think we can let that fly, right? No, her punishment is going to be more truth. I always say she is sentenced to more truth, and I have been keeping a little secret, and it's time for me to reveal it. Also, I am getting the sense that there is something happening, something big happening. It feels like people are upping the crazy a little bit. Something is coming undone in the background. And on that note, the big news of the day is guess who crawled from under his rock, apparently, and sent me a full-blown lawsuit. Yes, Brian Harpole. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe that would grant me, your girl, the power of subpoena. Let's get started. Welcome back to Candace.
As speculation continued, some critics also pointed to her mother's documented professional connections to network security and related industries as another point of discussion. While those professional connections do not establish the broader claims being made, they have become another topic frequently referenced by online commentators and theorists when discussing Erika's background and personal network. Beyond the political criticism, Erika also became a frequent target of online comedy, satire, and parody, adding yet another layer to the intense public conversation surrounding her.
Nowhere in the Bible, nowhere in any religious tradition does it say, if you're a widow, you get a free pass to lie to anyone you want, to gaslight everybody you meet, for everything you've ever done in your entire life that is dog doo-doo. You just get overlooked. No one's allowed to bring it up. No one's allowed to talk about it. For the rest of your life, everyone has to fawn all over you and support you because, my God, you're a widow. It doesn't exist. I've looked at scripture. It's not in there. Erika, Graham, Gary, not in here. Andrew doesn't say it. There's no requirement. I support her as the head of TPUSA. There's no prohibition on me criticizing her for documented falsehoods. None.
One notable example came from comedian Drowski, who released a widely viewed parody that many people saw as a jab at Erika's public image. Using exaggerated makeup and an over-the-top performance style, the sketch poked fun at what critics described as her highly polished and carefully managed public persona, drawing significant attention across social media. While many people outside conservative political circles viewed the situation as material for humor and online entertainment, Erika also received support from several prominent political figures. According to reports and public discussions at the time, she was encouraged by the president to consider legal action in response to portrayals and criticism that she believed had crossed the line.
Please welcome Turning Point USA CEO and Chair, Erika Kirk.
Although similar views were also expressed by figures such as Ted Cruz, not everyone on the political right supported that approach. The disagreement highlighted another divide over how Erika should respond to her critics and the growing public attention surrounding her. Other conservative commentators, including voices such as Baron Coleman, argued that Erika should remain open to public scrutiny despite the hardships she has faced. Their view was that personal tragedy does not automatically place a public figure beyond criticism, especially when questions continue to be raised about statements, decisions, and public appearances that they believe deserve closer examination.
This culture we're living in absorbs disagreement as a form of personal betrayal. It turns having an opposing viewpoint into a moral crime worthy of punishment. And here's what I've realized through all of this, having lived through quite literal hell these past 7 months, if you strip someone of their humanity long enough, you will arrive at the chilling conclusion that they don't deserve to exist at all. Every morning I wake up to a new headline lying about me. I have comedians dressing up in whiteface. I have people saying I'm not fit to be CEO. And I have Candace Owens claiming I murdered my husband. And the list goes on and on and on. There is a serious epidemic of dehumanization plaguing this country.
Even as criticism continued to build and several of her public appearances sparked strong reactions, Erika showed no signs of stepping away from the spotlight. Rather than changing course in response to her critics, she remained highly visible and continued moving forward in her public role. Supporters viewed that as a sign of determination and resilience, while critics saw it very differently, keeping the public conversation going. To some critics, it suggested she was unwilling to recognize how negatively certain actions and statements were being received. Instead, she continued attending events and speaking at major gatherings, maintaining a highly visible role within the movement and the broader public conversation. Naturally, that kept the controversy in the spotlight and ensured the debate surrounding Erika continued to draw attention.
Yes, I am grieving. Yes, alongside our great team running Turning Point USA. Yes, I'm raising my babies. And you don't separate those into different boxes. They can all coexist. And so, yeah, I take my babies to the office. I want my kids to see what their father built. I want them to be a part of it. Maybe it's supposed to be something that inspires them and encourages them to think, okay, we live in the greatest country where you can be so many different things. You can be a mother. You can be an author. You can be a nurse. You can be a teacher. In one full lifetime. You don't have to just be one thing. And honestly, being a mother is one of the greatest honors and privileges and job titles you could ever have.
As she remained active in public, some of her most outspoken critics, including Candace Owens, continued questioning her actions and statements. Rather than allowing the issue to fade, they kept challenging her account in interviews, podcasts, and online discussions, fueling even more conversation. But just as Erika's public story became closely linked to a shocking act of violence, many observers believe another dramatic event marked the beginning of a new chapter in the ongoing controversy surrounding her.
But I thought that I was going to get straight answers, and then she lied to my face. And from that point on, when I clocked her on those lies and the public kept repeatedly clocking her on lies and seeing your reaction to it like it is right now, I grew increasingly suspicious of Erika. I remain suspicious of Erika. I think that is any person who is being honest. Why don't you respond to what I'm actually saying? I am saying that donors are telling us that that was an AI video or an AI audio that you presented of Charlie Kirk. Wouldn't that be a great time to clear that up? If you're gonna sit there and you're gonna point the finger at Candace Owens, I would have said, and it is egregious that Candace Owens is implying that we would make this up, that Charlie didn't want me to take over. And then you slam dunk, show the video of Charlie Kirk saying in Aspen that he wanted you to be the CEO. I have made a lot of claims about you lying, and I stand by the claims that I have made on this show.
What happened next quickly became one of the biggest topics of discussion across political media and social platforms. More recently, Erika attended the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Depending on who was telling the story, the evening was described as either a public relations setback or simply another event surrounded by speculation. Amid broader conversations about security concerns and other headlines tied to the gathering, one of the biggest talking points involved footage and reports claiming Erika was seen leaving the event in tears, sparking yet another wave of online discussion. In most situations, seeing someone become visibly emotional would likely bring an outpouring of sympathy and concern. But because opinions about Erika have become so deeply divided, the reaction online was far more mixed. While some people expressed support, others responded with jokes, memes, and sharp criticism. Reports and commentary from various sources suggested the incident may have left her deeply shaken, leading to speculation that she could eventually step back from public life after months of constant scrutiny and controversy. Not long afterward, Erika released a statement that prompted many people to wonder whether she was preparing to take a step back from her public role, adding even more intrigue to the ongoing conversation. She said, "Saturday was yet another traumatic example of the evil in our country and the continued rise in political violence. I'm taking time to spend with my family. I will be joining the Charlie Kirk Show Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern."
I call BS on her reason for going to the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Girl, just be real. Just be real with everyone. I went because I was invited and I wanted to go. You didn't go to like, oh, I'm going to hold reporters accountable. You just wanted to go. You wanted to go and you did, and that's fine. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. So like that, it's that kind of stuff that makes people think her behavior is more performative than anything. Just be real. People want authenticity. You wanted to go to the White House Correspondents' Dinner. You were invited as a guest of Fox News. That's fine. Because people were making fun of her sparkly outfits following Charlie Kirk's assassination. Just be you. And more importantly, videos like this don't help. They just don't.
The statement quickly drew attention and became another major topic of discussion online. To briefly address what took place, enough is enough. The message immediately sparked widespread speculation online. Some readers took it as a sign that she might be seriously considering stepping back from public appearances after months of controversy, criticism, and intense public attention. That interpretation, however, did not last long. Just a few days later, Erika was back in front of the cameras and once again taking part in the public conversation. Rather than keeping a low profile, she used the appearance to respond to claims and theories she believed were unfair or misleading, keeping the spotlight firmly on the ongoing debate. Among the people Erika addressed most directly was Candace Owens, whose criticism had become one of the most widely discussed disagreements in conservative media circles. From there, Erika explained why she chose to attend the event in the first place. According to her account, the decision was motivated by a desire to confront ongoing disagreements and address issues that had been building for some time.
I have people saying I'm not fit to be CEO, and I have Candace Owens claiming I murdered my husband. And the list goes on and on and on.
And I get on camera and I show everybody how batshit crazy I am. And the evidence goes on and on and on and on. And I will not stop, because just Monday, I said I was taking time off to be with my family. And now it's Thursday, and I am hosting a podcast clip, because in Turning Point, you can both take time off from work and work at the exact same time. And this hypocrisy can go on and on and on and on.
Her comments quickly attracted attention, with many viewers interpreting them as an attempt to answer her critics and resolve lingering public disputes, while others saw the situation differently. Predictably, the explanation did little to quiet the criticism. In fact, some observers argued that it only intensified concerns about her public image and sparked even more discussion. What stood out to many people was that even some who had previously stayed neutral were beginning to question whether her current approach was helping or hurting her standing with the public. One critic wrote, "If Erika Kirk truly is just a grieving widow and not actually a bad person, which is now becoming harder and harder to believe, then somebody around her who cares need to tell her the following." The comment quickly became another widely shared example of the growing divide in public opinion. Her disposition is totally unlikable. Her delivery is completely untrustworthy. Another critic added, every time she opens her mouth, she digs herself into a bigger hole.
No, I'm not accusing you of shooting your husband. What I am assuming that I have been open about on the show is that it reeks of dishonesty. And that people told you this. There's something about your general nature that comes across as very dishonest. You don't seem to be interested in the very many holes. I wouldn't be able to stomach sitting or standing next to Kash Patel, and yet you do. You're sitting here at a White House Correspondents' Dinner. Why don't you ask him to give the defense what they need if you want a speedy trial, victim? You lying about the surgeon and beginning the entire story about a Superman neck, but actually you were on the phone, but you lied to my face and you're pretending that I have to take that because you're a widow? That doesn't work for us.
I would rather not tell a widow how to grieve, but I would advise a wannabe AstroTurf CEO to go home and spend more time with her kids she claims to love. Comments like these spread quickly across social media and became part of the broader backlash surrounding her public appearances. Critics argued that she appeared increasingly focused on ongoing disagreements and personal feuds, rather than the larger tragedy that had first brought her into the national spotlight. Supporters, however, continued to reject those characterizations, keeping the debate active and deeply divided. Whether fair or not, those perceptions gave her opponents another reason to criticize her actions, and the controversy only continued to grow louder. Some of Erika's harshest critics argued that her response to public criticism seemed more emotional than her reaction to the attacks she faced after her husband's death. They pointed to her attention on media disputes and online commentary as what they viewed as evidence that her priorities were misplaced, a claim that sparked even more discussion across social media and political circles.
Owens didn't hold back and dragged her for over 20 minutes.
In one sentence, she said, I after today's traumatizing shooting, I need to spend time with my family, and then I will be on the Charlie Kirk show on Wednesday. So I think she just needed 48 hours. We get to that. The response has just been brutal, okay? Everyone is calling her out. They're saying that the look is wrong. People are making fun of saying that she looks like she came dressed up as the assassin that was walking up the stairs, allegedly, but also just her general demeanor. Okay, here are just some of the reactions. We can go through them. I guess I missed it. When did Candace Owens mention anywhere in the podcast that you murdered your husband? You didn't miss it. I trust gas station sushi more than I trust Erika Kirk. This user writes, I was hoping you were going to address all the questions being asked of you. This lecture was pointless. We're just getting lectured every day. We're so tired of being lectured. This person writes, Candace Owens never once made the explicit claim that you murdered your husband.
Supporters rejected that interpretation, but the disagreement kept the public conversation going. One of the first major public figures to respond to Erika's remarks was Candace Owens. After Erika suggested that Candace had promoted the idea that she was somehow connected to Charlie's death, a claim Owens firmly denied, the commentator responded at length. Owens devoted more than 20 minutes to criticizing Erika's statements and challenging what she described as misrepresentations of her views, adding even more attention to an already high-profile public dispute. One of Candace Owens' central criticisms was what she viewed as Erika's attempt to shift the focus of the controversy and portray her as the main villain in the story. Owens strongly rejected that characterization, arguing that her comments and coverage had been taken out of context and misrepresented. As a result, the disagreement became less about the original issues and more about competing narratives over who was being treated unfairly in the ongoing public debate. Above all, Owens made it clear that she was not backing away from the concern she had raised about Erika's public image and messaging. She argued there was a gap between the way Erika presented herself publicly and what some critics believed could be happening behind the scenes.
You can have a career after children, but if you try to have a career while you have your kids, there is no such thing as balance. That is such a myth. Gigi gets those little Montessori toys every month, and there's this one that has the buckets that balance. If I put something in one of those buckets, it's gonna drop down. And if I try to balance them, both buckets are filled, which is not realistic. I can't spend half of the day doing one thing, I missed out half of that time with being with the kids. So like you have to choose where your heart has to be fully with the home.
Whether people agreed or disagreed, Owens insisted those questions deserved continued public discussion and scrutiny, ensuring the disagreement remained firmly in the spotlight. Candace also echoed an argument that commentators such as Baron Coleman had raised earlier on their own programs. Their view was that because Erika is a public figure with ties to influential political and media circles, her statements and actions should remain open to public scrutiny. They argued that what they saw as inconsistencies in her public messaging justified continued questioning and accountability, regardless of the personal hardships she has faced. From their perspective, public sympathy did not remove the need for public examination and debate, a position that continued to divide opinions and keep the controversy in the spotlight. After facing yet another wave of online criticism, the backlash had grown so widespread that even commentators from outlets often viewed as politically opposed to her, including voices associated with the Young Turks, weighed in on the situation.
Everyone is asking why I even went to the White House Correspondents' Dinner, and it was because many of the journalists in that room have attempted to dehumanize me, and I wanted to meet some of them face to face, quite frankly. Why have a conversation about me when you can have a conversation with me? So, for example, a journalist from the Daily Mail came up to me, she introduced herself, and she was very gracious. She was saying, "You look so beautiful. I'm so sorry for your loss." To which I replied, "It is so nice to put a name to the face."
Rather than only criticizing Erika, some also offered advice on how they believed she could improve her public messaging and avoid releasing videos or statements that quickly become the focus of ridicule, controversy, or strong negative reactions after they are posted. Not everyone has taken a constructive approach when discussing Erika's public struggles, however. While some commentators have offered suggestions on how they believe she could improve her messaging and public appearances, others have focused almost entirely on criticizing her actions and public image, keeping the debate alive. Rather than focusing on ways she could rebuild credibility, many critics have shifted their attention to Erika's past. They have revisited her years with Charlie, comparing older interviews, statements, and accounts with her more recent public messaging. In doing so, they argue they have found inconsistencies that, in their view, raise additional questions about her public narrative. Many people acknowledge that Erika's life changed dramatically after losing her husband and becoming the sole parent of her children. Even so, critics argue those life-changing circumstances do not fully explain what they see as shifts in her public positions and messaging. Major events can absolutely reshape a person's outlook and priorities. Even with that in mind, some observers say they have noticed what they view as significant differences between the values. For some of Erika's most outspoken critics, the changes they believe they have seen in her public behavior have led them to reach even harsher conclusions about her motivations. They argue that the person now in the spotlight is who she has always been, while supporters strongly reject that view and defend her against those claims.
How disingenuous can you be, Andrew? You have to get tired of it at some point. You just got to get tired of it. Again, I will assert publicly, you have my full permission. Go Max, release the entire chain. I have nothing to hide. When I said and I asserted several times, there is not a single thing that he can point to that I said on this show that was leaked to me by Aubrey Leitch, from December 15th, okay? Post getting fired, obviously she spoke out and I've had many conversations with her, but nothing was leaked to me about that I presented on this show about anything that was going on internal. So pretending that this joke that went around of I'm the first thing I'm gonna ask her is why did you murder your husband? Like, why are you gay? Is a little over the top. Release it all, let the public judge. I have nothing to hide.
The disagreement has only grown more intense, with both sides standing firmly behind their positions and challenging each other's arguments. One critic summed up that perspective in especially strong terms, saying, "I felt sorry for him. I felt like he was being love-bombed, manipulated, and gaslighted so much by Erika and others that he probably thought he found his soulmate. But I believe he was seeing the truth." Another critic continued, and sadly, it cost him his life. Relationships with narcissists are complicated. She said I missed half the day being with the kids instead of saying she missed spending time with the kids because she had to work all day. Her heart was to never be a mom. She likes being that boss. Charlie stole her shine. She got left at home with the kids, and when he was around, he put the kids first. This made her very envious. She wanted the stage back. A pageant girl needs to perform. She needed the spotlight for validation. Those comments reflect the personal opinions of critics and should not be taken as established facts or verified descriptions of Erika's character or motivations. Meanwhile, as if the public disagreement were not already intense enough, tensions between figures connected to Turning Point and Candace Owens appeared set to become even more heated as legal disputes entered the picture. Given how closely the situation has been followed, many observers expect that developments from any ongoing legal proceedings could quickly become another major topic of public discussion. Critics and supporters alike are watching closely to see what happens next, knowing that each new development has the potential to trigger another wave of headlines and heated discussion. Meanwhile, Erika continues to face intense public scrutiny from multiple directions. According to her detractors, both her personal reputation and public standing have changed dramatically, leaving her in a much different position than when she was primarily known as Charlie's wife. The criticism has become so widespread that even people who were not closely following the story have begun sharing their opinions. Many critics believe the constant attention now appears to be taking a visible toll. Some argue that stepping back from public life, even temporarily, could lower the temperature of the debate and allow the ongoing controversy to fade from the spotlight for a time. Whether Erika decides to step back or continue embracing a highly public role, one thing is clear. The debate surrounding her shows no signs of slowing down anytime soon. Whatever happens next, the next chapter is likely to bring even more attention, discussion, and sharply divided opinions than ever before.